15, slot right, single receiver, Hester to the left. Press coverage, snap to Haney, throws it over the middle. Intercepted! Intercepted! B.J. Raji in the end zone for the touchdown! NFC Championship dagger! Blitz is on, Rodgers scrambles left, winds up Rainbow. He's got Cobb at the 10 to the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown and a dagger! Aaron Rodgers ducks it under center, drops to a knee, and time melts away from Super Bowl 45. The title is back in town. The Green Bay Packers are world champions of football.
The Wisconsin Sports Trilogy presents the Packers Trilogy Podcast.
Heyo, Packer fans, what's going on? Welcome to the Packers Trilogy Podcast presented by the Wisconsin Sports Trilogy, the podcast for diehard Packer fans by diehard Packer fans. I am your host, Trevor. You can find me on Twitter at Bender_Trevor. And as always, make sure you're following the podcast on Twitter at Trilogy_pod. Find us on Facebook, on YouTube, we're the Wisconsin Sports Trilogy Podcast there. And I've got an exciting film breakdown for you today. Today we are going to look at Kingsley Keke. And I kind of previewed it on the full-length podcast, which Tyler and Scott so rudely decided to fall asleep and didn't record with me. But I am very excited about this young player. I thought he stepped up tremendously well so far this year, and he's starting to make a little bit more plays. And it is very, very exciting to see that. It's exciting to see someone step up that isn't named Kenny Clark or any of the outside linebackers. You know, it's exciting to see someone in the middle of this defense step up a little bit more, and Kingsley Keke has done that. So let's go right into this, and let's look at what Kingsley Keke has been doing this year. So for starting out, I want to start in this Lions game. And this play is in the run game. And he does a good job on this play of kind of standing up the offensive lineman that's trying to block him, sheds the block, and then is able to make a nice solid tackle. He's got some buddies there with him that help him finish off the play. But he makes the initial stop. He does a great job of, like I said, standing up that who is the tackle in this case, comes down on him. Does a good job of standing him up, sheds that block, and gets out into the hole and stops AP. Great job. Here, another one, very similar type of play, where this time he's got the other side of the line on him there, and he stands him up, makes a good play, sheds him, and then makes the play on Adrian Peterson, and Za'Darius is there to help him as well. And I still don't understand why the Lions think TJ Hawkinson can block Za'Darius Smith. I don't understand that. But clearly they can't block Kingsley Keke with their offensive linemen. So I guess it doesn't really matter. And you'll see that on this play. This guard looks completely overmatched. This is actually Rashawn Gary's sack. But Kingsley Keke, who has a one-on-one matchup, because if you notice Za'Darius on the other side there in the middle, the center's got to go help that side, and Kingsley Keke makes a great play, starts outside, comes inside, and just burns the guard for the Lions. And we'll watch this one more time. Just awesome, awesome stuff. You saw it in the run game on the first two plays. Now we get a little bit in the pass game of showing some flashes, making plays. Moving ahead to this Saints game, this is actually the Alvin Kamara touchdown on that little halfback angle route. But if you watch Kingsley Keke, he does... Not that Drew Brees has a bad throw here. It's a good throw, but getting in the face of Drew Brees and getting the hand up and, had that not been such a quick pass, which that's all the Saints do, but had that not been such a quick pass, he would have made more of an impact. They were trying to go down the field. I don't know if Drew Brees can get it off. So great job there by Kingsley Keke. Here is Keke's actually strip sack. So he's going to do a little stunt with Rashawn Gary, and he actually gets all the way outside the tackle and makes the play on Drew Brees. Now, this one's more just showing off his speed a little bit, going around from, the defensive left side of the center and goes all the way past the left tackle, which is on the defense's right, and is able to make a play before Drew Brees can get the throw off. So great stuff there. Again, not really a one-on-one matchup, just more going with what the scheme is and making the play. Maybe a little miscommunications on the Saints O-line part, but great stuff there. Here we'll see that one-on-one matchup, and here's the second sack of the game. Rips Andres Pete, who's a very good offensive lineman in this league. He just makes him look kind of silly on this play. Does a great job kind of standing him up, realizes it's a pass, throws him off him, and goes and finds Drew Brees, makes the play, gets yet another sack in this game. That was his second one of the day. And this was kind of his coming out party. He had 2 sacks. He was the disruptor in this game without Kenny Clark. And finally here in the Monday night game, I'm going to slow this one down here. Just watch him rip off of here. I didn't have the all 22 or the end zone film, but he just shoves off that offensive lineman and gets back to Todd Gurley. Just absolutely powers him off of him, realizing where the play is going. Now he doesn't make it at the line of scrimmage, but he just couldn't quite get to the back in time. But I have a feeling, had he not been there, has he not started making contact with Todd Gurley, a yard from the line of scrimmage, Kevin King is there, Adrian Amos is there, but with a head of steam, you imagine he's going to get, instead of getting 3 yards, he's getting 5, 6, 7 yards possibly on that play. So Kingsley Keke really is coming up big. I think he's doing a fantastic job overall, playing extremely well. He's been the most consistent interior guy outside of Kenny Clark, but we've only seen Kenny Clark for, I don't know, a quarter, maybe 2 at best. I think he went out during the second quarter of that Minnesota game. So we need to see more from this interior defense, and Kingsley Keke is showing it. And I can't wait to see what happens, when we have the full complement. What happens when Kingsley Keke's playing like this? What happens when Kenny Clark gets back and Rashawn Gary gets back? And then you have the Smith brothers, and you can move Za'Darius around. You can even move Rashawn Gary around. How, if they line up those 5 on 3rd and 12, how are you going to block them? Even if they drop one of them and you don't necessarily know who that's going to be, how are you going to block those guys? Because you can't double team them in that situation unless you're going mass protection. And even still, these guys are that good. And Kingsley Keke in that situation is going to be the guy that's kind of left alone. And the way he's been playing, I think he's going to start wrecking some havoc, because there is going to be so much attention paid to Kenny Clark, to Za'Darius, to Rashawn Gary now, I think. I think Preston's playing fine, but he's dropping in coverage a lot. So Kingsley Keke's got to be a guy that steps up. And I think, as you saw here, I wanted to highlight those run plays because he does make plays there too. He flashes in the pass game. You saw that in the Saints game, being able to get 2 sacks. He does a good job there, and that's what we need from him. And, showing that flash to have an extra guy to get to the quarterback is exciting as well. We knew he had that in him. And the fact that he is playing well in the run game, you saw it on this Todd Gurley run. You saw it on those AP runs early in that Lions game. It's exciting stuff, and I can't wait to see what he can do with number 97 next to him. Like I said in the beginning of the video, guys, make sure you continue to check the rest of our content out. The Packers Trilogy podcast you can follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you're checking that out. Make sure you're checking the Brewers Trilogy podcast out as well. Bucks Trilogy podcasts, we're still figuring out and trying to get that back up and running. But to see all of that stuff, to find all of that stuff, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Trilogy_pod. Also follow us here on YouTube and Facebook as well. Wisconsin Sports Trilogy podcast there. So that's going to be it for me today. I am hoping to start getting Tyler involved a little bit more in these. Help me kind of break this down a little bit more. We're going to start transitioning to you guys finally being able to see who you've been listening to. If you've been listening to us for a long period of time, finally put a face to the voice. So make sure you guys continue to check us out on, like I said, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We are trying to put out more content for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy. And if you wouldn't mind, just clicking that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me and my other hosts in Tyler and Scott. So make sure you guys continue to check us out, and we will be back soon. As always, go Pack Go.